Welcome to another episode of the Strategic Bookkeeper Podcast. Today we're talking advisory. And before we go on with that, I'm going to name it to team it. This is day one of pivoting my podcast to being video podcast. So the last 2.5 years recording over 100 episodes, they have all been audio. However, I have decided that I will record video podcasts so that they are really, really YouTube friendly. And so that as I move forward recording these, I'll always keep them really audio friendly. And when I'm doing the video, I can screen share as well. Okay. So I will absolutely hold in my mind to keep these always 100% audio friendly. If you're anything like me, I am a busy multitasking mum. And I do all the mountain of education that I want and need to do on the go, driving in the car, when I'm at the gym, this kind of thing. So I'm not someone who gets on YouTube and uses YouTube. However, I know that it's helpful. And also I know that if you are listening to my podcast and in the weeks and months to come, when I talk about the screen sharing I'm doing, you can then elect to go over to YouTube and use it like a lesson, okay? The second thing that I want to mention in this video podcast, so as I record this, it's the 19th of November, and I'm thinking about the over 100 episodes that were and our podcast moving forward, and also thinking about the podcasts that I love, thinking about the podcasts that I have loved and I don't love so much anymore, and thinking about what I want for you to get from this content that I give to you. So I think of my podcast as a bit of a how-to. In my episodes, I want to give you information like education to really grow your practice or grow. I don't know about that word. Honestly, we want to scale, but that's a whole nother conversation. I want to help more bookkeepers to keep goals. And so I see my podcast as a bit of a how-to where I'm turning up to give you that education so that you can keep goals. And so I want to stay really true to that vision for my podcast and just make sure I don't hold back in that way. Okay. So I could say so much more on that subject because it is linked to the podcast that I feel like I loved for a while. And now I get on and things have changed and I feel like I don't get the value that I once got out of the wisdom that these thought leaders shared. So I want you to get wisdom that really makes you excited about what you can do in your practice. So with all that said, let's get into today's episode. So we're talking advisory. Let's get stuck into it. Okay. The first thing I want to let you know is this episode, I was actually just going to go live in my private Facebook group, but I've decided to make it a public podcast episode. So this particular episode is designed for my clients as well as for all of you. So whether you're working with me or not, this is for you. However, I'm going to be speaking to my clients as well. And this is great for you because you are going to learn through story, I guess I would say. You're going to basically hear what I'm asking my clients to think about, get ready for, and do. So you can absolutely think about, get ready, and do. But if you feel like, oh, I don't have quite enough to do that, I'm also going to share with you getting started with advisory, how you can do that, why you really must think about that. I'm so passionate about advisory, even though there was a time I was a bookkeeper in practice and I could remember this. I was sitting in a big room full of people and, there were people up on the stage, there were guys up there, there were ladies up there too, and they were talking advisory. And I'll be honest, I didn't know what the hell they were talking about. Advisory, right? It's like, okay, I'm advising people, but I'm really confused. What is it? How does it relate to what I do? I'm a bookkeeper. Like, hello, help me. And this podcast episode, I definitely want to give you a little bit of information to really help you, whether you are way back at a 0 out of 10, feeling like I'm not ready and I feel like I don't want to do it, right through to, no, I'm doing it, I'm loving it. Or a bookkeeper I met not long ago, I loved her energy. And she said, Jeannie, I'm trying to sell advisory to every single client. No one's buying it. But how good is that she's trying? She's one step from that trying, doing it, right? That's the first thing that I'll be kind of talking to my clients, but talking to my non-clients as well. So no matter which one you are, this is for you. The second thing I want to share is that I've decided it would be really helpful to link you to a presentation I did not so long ago. I was at XeroCon, which is the Xero conference in Brisbane here in Australia, and I presented on how strategic bookkeepers are scaling their profit and time with advisory and automation. It was very, very popular, so much so that I ended up sharing it all over the place. So what I'm going to do is after this, I'm going to publish that on YouTube and I'm going to link to it here. Now, the other thing is, as always in my podcast, I'm going to link to the Bookkeeping Practice Blueprint, the 5 big keys as well, and drop a link to our Bookkeeper Archetype quiz, because these 3 things, the Bookkeeping Practice Blueprint, the 5 big keys, and the archetypes, that is how I drive the success of my community every day, every day. So I want you to have those 3 resources, okay? Now I'll begin by just telling you what I was going to go live with my clients on. So this is me going live in my private Facebook group, right? Which is with my tribe, the members of the Strategic Bookkeeper Network, and they're in my transformation program. So here's what I was going to tell them. I was conducting a podcast with Jen Vanderwell. So Jen is one of my clients, but she has also become one of the coaches inside the transformation program. And I was doing a podcast for my Better in Business platform. You can see it at betterinbusiness.global. You can go to the podcast and you can listen to that, right? I was doing it with her because she's now stepping in to co-host that podcast with me, which is amazing. And Jen and I ended up having a chat. We were chatting about AI, and I told her something like where my brain was going related to advisory. And that led me to getting a bit clear with Jen to share with you now, okay? So I've just started running a 6-part AI series with my clients. And as soon as I started running it, I realized something that I teach them, which is if you really want to learn something, teach it. So I started session 1. We've done 2 so far. And I said to them right at the beginning, I'm going to do these 6 sessions on AI, primarily ChatGPT, okay? That's a large language model. We won't go into that right now, right? But primarily ChatGPT. And I said to them, you all know, if you really want to learn something, teach it. And there is an opportunity here as you learn from me in this AI series to look at, do you want to run an AI 101, a ChatGPT 101 with your clients and either charge them a fee, like you have a one-to-many workshop series. It could be a small fee, it could be a big fee, or it could be my gift to you. Or I realized it could be a lead line, also known as a welcome line, also known as a nurture asset, also known as a lead magnet. These phrases, right, will make sense of it. It could be a lead line into selling services, okay? So then what I said to Jen is, with this workshop series, when I started this, everyone was really excited. They said, oh my goodness, that's a great idea, Jeannie. We absolutely need to do that. So I said, okay, great. All you need to do now is sit back, relax, enjoy the series, learn from it. I'm going to give you all my structured agendas and everything. And all you're going to do is take what we've done, recreate it in a way that feels right for you. I'll give you everything. And then that's going to be really, really easy. Okay. So we got into session 2 and that was great. And I'm planning for session 3. And I was thinking more about this. Do you do it free? Is it a Christmas gift? Is it something we charge low for, high for? And I realized, because I've been thinking of AI and advisory, honestly, advisory is going to be at the heart and soul of how you turbocharge your profit, turbocharge your client satisfaction, and actually get the business that you envisaged in the first place. Okay, I promise you, trust me now, believe me later, and episode 125 of my podcast with Linda Hall, it is a must listen. I want you to take something from that. And actually, this will be repeated in that complimentary workshop that I'll publish on YouTube for you. So when I run the incredible numbers on what Linda achieved in just 12 months, right? $200,000 worth of revenue, and almost all of that for her to keep realistically, because she has no technical staff, just a part-time admin, right? So startup 0 to 200,000, no staff, raving fan clients. She could not have achieved that without advisory. And Linda at the beginning felt like she didn't have any confidence to do the advisory. Okay. And yet, yes, she's in my transformation program. Yes, we give her all that. And yes, you can join me anytime. Okay. But in my first book, I give you a whole chapter on this. You're here with me now, client or not client. Okay. But just learning from Linda. So I was looking at Linda's result. And of course, this should make total sense to me when I ran the numbers. If Linda didn't sell advisory to most of those clients from the get-go, and I will make this simple, then a decent portion of that would not be there, of that money. And what the market will bear for advisory is 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 times what the market will bear, as in pay, for bookkeeping. The kicker is that advisory work, even level 1 advisory, is actually more impactful. To put it really simply, when I prepare up-to-date, accurate numbers for a client, fantastic. That is the gateway to success. That is like the gate that you can open and go, oh, I got what I need now. But that alone actually gives you no ROI, okay? It'll give you an ROI on I'm a bit less stressed, but in terms of ROI, this is one of the reasons nobody really wants to pay for bookkeeping, because preparing up-to-date, accurate numbers is critical. But that alone, you know that knowledge is power, but not if you do anything with it. That's what this is like. We've got the power, but we're not doing anything with the power. When you shift over from preparing those up-to-date, accurate numbers to investigating the numbers, your clients actually take the power and they use it. And I'll be honest, it's actually really easy to hold space for them to make better business decisions because they can see what's going on, and they just naturally increase turnover, reduce cost of sales, increase net profit, make smarter decisions, be able to start taking time off, all the things that you want as an entrepreneur, and they want to, okay? But I digress a bit. That's advisory. Just back to the AI. So level 1 advisory is where you go from preparing numbers to investigating them, right? Really simple. And you must learn how to learn, sell, and deliver advisory. Linda Hall sold it all. And then she did the advisory model inside my academy. And then she delivered it. So what she did, where I say learn, sell, deliver, she did the very smart thing. She sold, learned, and delivered, okay? Because if you have a simple system of advisory that a bookkeeper can easily learn and deliver like Linda did, bearing in mind she was a startup, okay? Then the learning of it and the delivery of it is easy with the right system, okay? It is the selling of it that most people aren't talking about, which frustrates the hell out of me, because if we look at bookkeepers generally and we looked at your brand marketing and selling acumen, your skills, expertise, etc., on a scale of 0 to 10, most bookkeepers I meet are a 1. So if I'm going to say, just go sell it now, that beautiful bookkeeper that I met that said, Jeannie, I'm trying to sell advisory to every single one and they're all saying no, and she started laughing. How coachable is she? Because she's vulnerable enough to say it and laugh at herself, right? Of course, she needs some help to sell it, okay? And just in terms of how I can help you with that, start with my book. So my first book, The Strategic Bookkeeper, we can drop links into that as well. There's a chapter in there called Succession, and I do give you a lot to get started on selling it, okay? And if you feel like it's not enough or you want to know how to work with me, drop me an email, hello@thestrategicbookkeeper.global, and we can talk about that, okay? So just moving on from there, anything else that you can do to solve a problem for your clients is advisory. And I'll give you an example. So let's say I'm in a meeting with my client doing the investigate the numbers, And it naturally leads to the fact that their administration person has quit and they're in a bit of a pickle, but she wasn't that good anyway. So maybe it's a good thing. And then I say, actually, I have expertise around recruitment. My clients rave about it. Would you like me to send you a proposal for how we could get you someone who works really well for your business, et cetera, right? That's just off the cuff. So that's a real life story. We do recruitment. And another example, standard operating procedures. Could I help you with that? So now can you see where I'm going with the AI part? I personally believe that there is a glaringly obvious elephant in the room. There's this giant, beautiful pink elephant in the room dancing around in a tutu, really excited. And that elephant is going, look at me, look at me, look at me. It's dancing and everything. And I think it's doing that because the opportunity for bookkeepers, we are detail-orientated intellectuals. We are techy people. We are nerdy people. We love tech, yeah? The opportunity for us to support entrepreneurs with AI as an advisory service, it is a bright pink elephant in a tutu dancing around a room. It is so obvious, okay? But then you might say, okay, I can see the elephant now. Like, holy cow. Yeah, there it is. But how do I catch that elephant and wrangle it into a fence, right? Like I say, let's put a fence around it, and the fence is the system, right? I love that term. I heard it once somewhere else. We need to put a fence around this, and I love that. So I'm just going to walk you through exactly what I'm going to tell my clients right now, exactly what I suggest they get thinking about, and that in the weeks and months to come, we can take action either in a scrappy hustler way, get out there and try it, yeah? Learn, do, fail, learn, do, fail, learn, do, get a bit better, learn, do, mastery, right? Failing in business is part of learning. Hello, we should get rid of the word fail and say learning. Like I was learning for 20 years and then finally I got there. It's totally normal. So let's put a fence around this by me just really speaking to the camera like I'm speaking to my clients, right? So I will say, you know how we've been doing the AI Master Series, and you know how I was saying you can take what you're learning here, you can just literally be a little bit innovative, and you can look to roll this out with your clients. And then basically it's about going, okay, we talk about the messaging. For example, we were saying they could put out the feelers right now with the subject line, should I build this? And then a really basic, what we call 9-word email. And this would go to not just their clients, their entire database, clients, prospects, past clients, inactive clients, accountants, friends, family, social media, email database everywhere. But if we're just talking email, like subject line could be a Facebook post, should I build this? And personal Facebook, like the whole rabbit hole of the People I Know network. So should I build this? 9-word email. I do this in ChatGPT, for example, but basically it would be something along the lines of, should I build a ChatGPT 101 live series so that I can help all of you with how to use ChatGPT in a way that actually saves you 15 hours a week and helps you do better in business? I know it's not 9 words, but the strategy is called the 9-word email. And ChatGPT might turn that into a 9-word email. But if we were just seeking to take the pulse of our audience with a strategic approach, that is a way that we could take the pulse. And then people could reply and say, hell yeah. So you would just say, just reply yes to this message so I can take the pulse. You can also say, I'm just taking the pulse of the value of this. Would you find it valuable for me to present a 6-part AI basics workshop? And then potentially step 2, you could then say it's on, as in Australia we say, I don't know if it's elsewhere, it's on like Donkey Kong. So it's on and I'm going to do this thing. So basically now step 2, if you could just register onto the wait list so that we've got the numbers, please register, limited numbers. So then you get all that ready. And then you look at, it might be a 4-week series, whatever, 1-hour sessions is great. And then what I say to my clients is, you know what I covered. For example, we look at the AI basics, how to stop frustration by learning some stuff from me, then going in and setting it up. What are the various things used for demonstrating? And then I'm going back to a few more basics. But I'm building out the series week on week with my clients. And that's what you do. Even though I'm going to give you the structure, give them the structure, I'm learning from them. Like last session, we did something amazing. Like we built something, but then I also identified through calibration of my learners that it'd be good to just take a step back to the basics. So session 3, I'll step back a little bit, right? Basically, what I'm suggesting to my clients is they would then roll this out and there might be a small fee, right? In the bookkeeping practice blueprint, which if I'm getting this right, then I should be sharing. But if you're listening audio style, you know that you get this blueprint in the show notes. Now, when I was saying, will we sell this? Will this be $99 per person? For example, if you had 20 people registering to attend live and receive the recordings, that's very easy. Then this would be an activity that you made $2,000 out of, okay? But I just want to take you here on the Bookkeeping Practice Blueprint just to product ladder, okay? I talk about this in my first and my second books, which I recommend very strongly if you're a bookkeeper, and if you haven't read them, you're crazy, okay? So get onto it. So product ladder. Now, content, just to refresh, remember that's your website content, social media, your brochure, your video sales letter, any content that you put out there for people to get to know you. Yeah. And get to know you is also to vet you. Yeah. Then one step up on the product ladder rung. So as we ascend on the product ladder, we've got what I call welcome lines, because that's when I'm going to welcome this person who's getting to know me through the door to actually get to know me more, right? These are also known or called, my favorite phrase for these is nurture assets, because once someone's decided to get to know you through your content, it's now the time for you to actually nurture them. So let's keep this really simple. We're going to nurture those people. And how are we going to do that? Well, if you were providing your database, your wide people I know database, every one of your friends, family on your personal social media, everyone on all your social media platforms, your business social media, your email database, the networking group you go to, your school hobby group, like you think, who doesn't want to know about AI, just for example. But when you serve up a workshop that you're either charging nothing for or it's very low cost, put very simply, it is a no cost or low cost way for people to try you. Okay, so it's what we call low or no cost and low risk, or no cost, no risk. It's very low risk, as in the time I'm going to invest in you is not like I'm not signing up to be with you for the rest of my life and giving you $20,000, which eventually many of them do. So it's a way to nurture them. And it's a way for you to show them what you're made of, right? And all that means is to give them some value, right? And it's a way for them to come through and try you. We also call it try before you buy, okay? And in my book, I give you lots of examples of welcome line nurture assets. They're everywhere, also known as lead line. It's a product that leads you to your core suite. And what's your core suite? Preparing up-to-date accurate numbers. Yes, that's bookkeeping. And investigating the numbers. That's level 1 advisory. And solving any problem that you want to solve with your special skill or the special skill of someone on your team. Okay, that's what I call succession, meaning what's next on the menu. So taking this example, let's say we said, you know what, I'm going to offer this up free. It could absolutely be free, or you could offer it up for $99. There is lots of things that you could do here, okay? So most entrepreneurs are not very good at ChatGPT. Even bookkeepers are catching up. And we've got other platforms like Cassidy, if you don't know Cassidy, and other things. I'm actually engaged right now and have been for a year in a massive AI project myself. We have paid a lot of money to one of the world's best in AI, an amazing woman, and we are building robots and task agents and doing everything. So there is world of AI. But what I find is most people, even the bookkeepers I'm training, they either don't have ChatGPT, they don't know how to use it, they don't know how to set it up properly. So a lot of the value that you can provide is just in the basics and helping them get started. And let's just come back to product ladder. So the opportunity with advisory always is massive. but this giant pink elephant dancing around the room, excited in a tutu, right? Which is AI as advisory. Okay. I'll come back to a bit more on how I want to evolve that. But basically, imagining that you just helped everyone with the basics for $100 a person, or it could be free, or it could be $200 a person. It could be whatever you want it to be. Then beyond that, imagine that you knew that you wanted to, after that workshop or even during that workshop, make sure that you could do some assessment of your learners and your database. Anyone who watched the recordings, anyone who registered to receive it, live recordings. Let's say you get 100 people register. That's 100 people telling you they're interested in AI for their business. So imagine if you could use ChatGPT to create a really nice questionnaire, just seeking to understand, or you even jumped in one-on-one with people and you said, let me understand a bit about your business. And then you had a way to identify simple ways that you could support them with AI to help them do better in business, right? Like I said, we're bookkeepers, we're techie people. A lot of you are going to find this easy. And if you really want to learn something, teach it. Like when it comes to advisory in AI, here's what I know. Bookkeepers are smart cookies. Yeah. But they've often got more skills than confidence, meaning most bookkeepers I meet just don't recognize their own brilliance. Okay. And when it comes to any advisory service that you offer, but I'll use AI, you only have to be better than the person that you are delivering it to and one step ahead. What I mean by that is, I'll give you a real life example. So right now at the Strategic Bookkeeper, my team and I, as I said, have been engaged in this AI project. And little by little by little, our intelligence around AI is going, let's say it was 0 to 100, that needle is moving in the team. And so we are always ahead of the curve, right? And I'm always learning the next thing and the next thing. And when I decided to roll out this series, I spent a lot of hours going in and thinking about what my learners are going to want and making sure I was clear on the things I was doing and learning and learning and learning. So when you are delivering the AI advisory service, if you commit to doing that, you are just going to be committing to your own learning. And what do you think the value of learning AI is right now? Like seriously, the large language models and the AI that comes with that, right? It is being called the biggest shift to ever happen to humanity. Have you seen on Instagram and YouTube and everywhere else where you see, we have built your AI staff members for you. We've got them ready to go. That is not that hard. There is a platform called Cassidy where you can do that now. Yes, it requires some learning. Yes, it requires some implementation. But I suspect that many of you watching would be very capable of it, okay? Me being in it and doing what we're doing, I love it. I actually wish that I had 100% of my time to devote to learning AI right now because number one, it's mind-blowing and it is the future. It is the future. Future-proof your practice, okay? Now, just reminding you that when it comes to advisory, what the market will bear, that means what the market will pay for advisory, which is really you helping entrepreneurs do better in business by solving problems, whether that is, I'm going to help you solve the where's all the cash problem. Yeah, that's what every entrepreneur is saying. Where's all the cash in my business? I'm going to help you solve that by investigating numbers. Great. What do I pay you, right? Whether that is, oh my goodness, I'm so busy and I don't want to spend more money on staff. And I heard this AI thing is great, but I don't know where to start. Whether that is increasing capacity in their business through AI, when you solve real problems that help your clients do better in business with these services that we would put it into a bucket called advisory, where you go beyond just preparing beautiful, up-to-date, accurate numbers, the market will pay so much more, and never will you see such amazing client satisfaction as when you are doing the advisory piece, because I promise you, they will get wins, they will kick goals, they will do better in business. Sometimes it will be this much, sometimes it will be this much. Okay. Like even for me doing advisory over the years, I remember it was some years ago, and I was showing a consultant something we were doing with a client because he was going to engage and do some stuff as well. And he looked at it, and we've been working with them for years, and it had been a big job, like blood, sweat, and tears, okay, advisory. And he said very formally, this is quite the meteoric rise they've had. And it took me a day or so, but I realized, oh my goodness, we were part of that meteoric rise. I'll never forget that. And then I realized, I've done meteoric rises with many clients. Like when I looked at the results that some of my clients were getting in the advisory space, I was like, go me and go my client, right? Oh my goodness, so much I can share with you, so much more. But let's wrap this with how you might take action. So if you're one of my clients and you are watching this, then I absolutely want you to be looking at taking action. You know that recently I asked you for a video review and we linked that to the AI workshop. I always want my clients to do what I do, like be inspired by everything I do. And you absolutely can rinse and repeat, put your stamp on it, be new and innovative. Absolutely. I talked about that recently. For everyone else, if you're not doing advisory, how could you get started? I can tell you exactly how. You pick up my first book and you either read the whole thing or you just read the chapter on succession. Yeah, it's available to buy everywhere. It's on Spotify Premium. It's everywhere. I'm going to drop all the chapters into my podcast shortly so that they're just there, right? I love to always think about how are you actually going to take action? I am massive. I learn and I implement fast, okay? I caught up with a friend the other day and she said, Jeannie, I'm a big learner. I'm always learning, but I just sit in the learning. And I don't want that for you, okay? That's not going to work. Lastly, if there is something that I can do to help you, like record another episode on something that you love, anything, please don't be a stranger. Please comment here, okay? Or email me, hello@thestrategicbookkeeper.global. Ask me anything. Just a heads up, I love audio clips. I am connected to some of the bookkeepers in community on my Facebook. If you want to connect with me there, just on my personal Facebook, Jeannie Savage, you can do that. I can audio clip it back and forth with you. I am a super efficient human. I'm a highly productive human, and audio clips are much faster than reading. But if you want to write me a long email, that is fine too. I can put it into a tech where Gwyneth Paltrow will read it to me. So that's a wrap on this week's episode. I'm going to see you next week to share some more insights that help you to grow that dream business and life. I'll see you in the next episode.